Hey, we are live. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Nick. Hi, Seth. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Good.
I feel like we haven't seen each other.
Doing well.
I didn't realize Nick got a haircut.
I know. It's big news. I feel like as the quarantine drags on, really anything is big news. But
it is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
It is. But we do actually have breaking news today, which is our app that we launched on Friday. Woohoo!
Yay.
Actually, I should say relaunched. We've always had the app live and available for everyone, but that's what our conversation today is going to be about. Let's talk about the new update that just went out this Friday. And just to be clear, the update was only for iOS. So we are currently working on that same update for Android, and it'll be available pretty soon on your Google Play Store. But until then, let's give a quick roundup on what happened with this update and why we built this in. So Seth here is, all the credit goes to Seth, the man behind the app, our app developer. All of the work that he has put into this app, you can see in this new update. So lots of hard work, but we are so proud about this new feature that we just launched. It's kind of been a long time coming for us. And I want to quickly take a few minutes to talk about what the new app update entails and why we did it this way. So we've always had the app available. So we've always made it very easy for anybody to download the app and look up parcels on the go, wherever they are. Like our CEO, Jerry, says it, put parcels in your pocket. That's kind of what we've always done with the app. It was also a great tool for surveying. People used it to survey properties, to take pictures, add survey responses, and all of the responses would automatically feed into their web version accounts. And the app worked great, but then a lot of people, our customers, wanted the app to become more of an extension of the web version itself, because the web version is fully jam-packed with a lot of features, and it made sense to replicate and create some of those features on the app as well, so that people could do more with the app while on the go and not have to have their web version on the app as well. Right? So that's essentially what we did. So instead of just using the app for looking up parcels and for entering survey responses, you can now actually do a lot more like the web version on the app itself, which means that you can look up parcels anytime nationwide for free, but you can now sign up and use Regrid Pro straight out of your app. So you can use it on your web version, you can use it on your app version. If you're already a pro user, you can do the same. You can use your same login credentials on the app, sign in, and you can do more things with the app than just looking up parcels or entering survey responses. So a quick roundup of a list of features that we made available this time is, of course, Regrid Pro on the app, which means that you can now bookmark parcels on the app, which means when you're looking at homes, maybe for property maintenance, you can quickly look up a parcel and add notes to that parcel and even add pictures while you're on the go, which basically means that if you see a property of interest, you can quickly add a few notes, go back to it, and review it at a later time for whatever use case it may be. This was always available on our web version, but this was, I think, by far the most asked for feature. Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've seen a lot of people ask for some form of bookmarking, just like we do on the web on the app, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other thing to note is that we heard a lot of people talking about, right, like the surveying function is really cool, but for a lot of people, it doesn't necessarily scratch the itch of just sort of, I'm out somewhere and I want to make a note about this property, right? Like the bookmarking is like a really nice end run around having to sort of think ahead of time, go to the site, create your survey question, save it, and then go onto the app and see it, right? Like now you can just show up and hit the button, bookmark, and add the photos and notes, which is really nice. And a lot of people were really like, why do we have to do these 5 steps? And in some cases, that's really important, but in some cases, it's not, right? And so we now offer both.
Yeah. And also not everybody has a survey to make, right? But they
Right.
might be using it for, like I said, property maintenance. Folks in real estate might want to take notes on some properties without having to do a survey or creating a survey first. And now you can just do that. You can add notes about any property in your subdivision. You can take pictures. And it all shows up right there on that same parcel. So when you look up that parcel again, you can see the note you made earlier. And then you can also see all the survey posts and all the bookmarks you make in your own, the post tab on the app, which we'll cover when we do the demo. So yeah, I think that was something that we really wanted to make sure the app had, because it was asked for the most as a feature on the app. Apart from that, you can now see the surveys and any focus areas that you've created for that survey on the app. So earlier, I think when you're out there, you could only see the survey questions, be able to answer those. But now there is more transparency. There's more control on how you can do and review surveys on the app. And we made map layers available for our pro users on the app. Not all of them are available. We have started with 2, but I think over time we may make a few more available. A lot of this is essentially the limitation of the real estate on the app itself. The app is not always, the app screen doesn't always yield well for every pro map layer that is out there. But that's the hope that with time we'll add a few more. And then a few other things that we added is essentially better onboarding. So you feel like, on-demand onboarding. If you ever feel like you're lost, you need some help while using the app, there are tutorials available. There is on-demand splash screens that has onboarding content on it available. And there are links to our tutorials and our support site from the app. So essentially, we've built a bunch of different features together. And it all went in one update because we wanted it to be one big update. It made sense to look at it all at once. And the one thing that I forgot to mention was, because we now have Pro in the app, it also means that you can unlock all the Pro premium fields, which means that you can now see the USPS vacancy and residential flags, and the building footprints and building square footage fields on every parcel, which was earlier not available if you're just a free user. It would still not be available if you're a free user, but if you sign up for Pro, you will be able to see all of that in the app as well. So with that said, I think we can jump straight into the app demo. Seth?
All right, sure.
All right. Okay, so this is what it would look like for a pro user, right?
This is the pro user experience. And actually, this is everyone's experience, what they first see when they join, when they sign into the app, or when they open the app. We got the top bar, this kind of project selector up here. And something that people will notice is different is we no longer have a satellite button. Instead, we have this layers panel. And those are the main differences for free users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you click on the top bar, Seth, what are the two main options? Okay.
Well, so if you're signing up for the first time, you'll see the option to do surveying. And this is my test account, so there's a lot of different groups that, there's a lot of different surveys. But at the top, you have, under the private section, you have bookmarks.
Yeah.
And these are all the private bookmarks that each user will have available. And once you select that, now you can bookmark on the screen using the bookmark button.
Okay. And then what happens if I select the bookmark button?
Okay, sure. So let's say we're trying to bookmark this property. Hit bookmark. And there's a notes field. Nice, parcel. And you can also take a photo and then submit. You can see a notification that it's successfully submitted. And when we go to the actual parcel itself, we can also see the bookmark right up here at the top. And we can see nice parcel.
Right. And then you should be able to see the bookmarks in the post section as well, in the post tab.
Right. So this is also a big difference from the last version. We used to have this inside the accounts page, but now post is just at the bottom. And yep, you just go to the post page and you can filter between surveys and bookmarks. Right now, there are no surveys that I've made so far, but bookmarks is right here. And again, it's the same kind of deal. You can see the parcel. And this works exactly the same way as surveys that have in the past.
Yeah. That was pretty neat. And then if they want to toggle between bookmarks and surveying on the top bar.
Sure. And I will mention, yeah, this is another thing to point out, which is that, before we used to have this tab for surveying or for switching surveys. And now it's just much more intuitive. You can just go to the top. And right now we have bookmarks selected, but we just click the back button for bookmarks and surveys. And now we can select a survey. I'm going to use this test one because I know it's okay. Well, maybe I should pick a different one, but I don't know. I don't have a very good one. Let's see. None of these are very good, but you can see like a legend for each survey. In this case, it has to do with random numbers. Yeah, I should create a nice demo account, but basically, what this screen now allows you to do is, aside from selecting the survey, you can also see the legend. So any questions that you've written, hopefully there'll be more and they'll make sense, and there won't just be test questions like this. And there's also focus areas that you can click on and zoom to.
Yeah.
But now that but in any case, once you've selected a survey, you can just click on the map. And now you're in surveying mode. And you'll notice that this has changed from a bookmark icon to a little pencil icon, which is our surveying indicator.
Yeah. And all the styles are lighting up the map associated with the survey.
Yep. So now this is something that came up during surveying. People would be surveying in the street, and then they would see all these colors on the map, and sometimes there may be too many colors, or they just got confused about what colors mean what. Well, now they can just tap on the top, and they can just go to the legend section.
Yeah.
And with a real survey, this will actually make sense. You'll see what the color means in relation to the survey question and the survey answer.
Yeah.
And that can be really helpful at getting a reminder.
I mean, it could be as simple as, say, red equals all the vacant properties and, something like that, just so you have all of that pre-built. And with this, I think essentially it's just more visibility and control over your survey than we had earlier. I think the app worked well for surveying all the time, but this is, like you said, being able to go look at the legends, being able to add those focus areas, and then being able to see those responses go in. I think all of that really matters.
Yeah.
And then if you click on the pencil button, we can just answer the survey questions. And then once submitted, those should show up in the post section as well.
Exactly. Yep. So these are just test questions, so they're not very good.
Yeah.
And it's been successfully submitted, and we can go to posts and click over to surveys, and indeed we've got this right here.
Right.
So we've got our bookmarks, and then we got our surveys, but they're all in this section, and we can feel confident that things have been submitted because it'll say saved. And it's a nice new home for surveys.
And a lot easier for surveyors, less confusing when they're out there in the field.
Yep.
All right. Do we want to quickly look at the layers that we added?
Sure. Yep. So I will say also, the search has a new home. It used to be on top of the screen. Now it's to the side, and it lives alongside layers. And if you click either of these, you'll get this sidebar that pops out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just show you what it looks like if we're searching. So searching pops out there. And you can toggle between those. But for layers now, to activate the satellite view, instead of that being the satellite button, now we have it over here.
Mm-hmm.
And what's great about this format is it allows us the ability to add all these layers. Anything that we can put on the map that can live alongside project data is a good candidate for going here. So I'll show you building footprints. And you might not be able to notice this, but what is cool about this is you can see the map actually changing when you make those changes. So actually, this will make it more clear what's going on here. I can turn off the building footprints, turn on the building footprints. You can see, you might be able to see a little bit about how that changes, and then we just click over and we can see what we've got here, which is now we have a layer that has our accurate building footprints. And the same thing with elevation, although elevation I have to zoom out in order to actually demonstrate.
Yeah.
So you can see some elevation points here. I might just turn off building footprints. But yeah, you can see these numbers, which indicate the elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. I know that we are all jazzed about the bookmark side, but I am actually kind of equally stoked about being able to see the elevation. I don't know, call me a nerd, but I feel like there's a lot of times it was really hard, and I'm not going to digress too far here, but it's been very difficult for me to just find like a straight up topo map of what I'm looking at on a map. It's not as easy as you would think to just be able to find that. So it's cool just to be able to nerd out and see sort of like that on top of parcels. It's interesting.
Yeah. And also what's interesting is it does say when you go there, yeah, when there's a parcel that's outside the survey focus area, it does actually mention that as well. These are all new things that we've added along the way for this update.
We did have this checking before, but it is in a very redesigned format. So this is just a lot cleaner, a lot easier to glance at, and everything is going to be it's a cleaner design that makes it a lot more obvious what you're looking at, and the owner, parcel ID, and whether or not it's in a survey area.
For sure.
For sure. And then do you want to pull up a parcel just to show all the attributes that's now showing because of the Pro? Yeah, like the calculated building count, the USPS.
Oh, and this is something new. Now you can actually bookmark and survey when you're on this screen. So I believe we didn't have that in the last one.
Yeah, that's new as well. So one quick tip for new users or those who are coming into the app for the first time and signing up for Pro, you will need to first go to the top bar and select either a bookmark or a survey for one of those icons to show up. But once they do, you will be able to bookmark any parcel easily. But that's where you actually go to activate that icon on your app. And that's it. I think the other new thing that people will now notice is if they sign up or where they need to sign up, all of the management of your account will now happen from the account tab. And if you need to, this is where, so manage subscription is where you can manage if you want to upgrade, if you don't need the Pro anymore, and if you want to cancel your subscription, all of that happens out of this. We hope that you don't cancel your subscription, but just making it easier, just managing subscription easier with this update as well. And as you can see, we added a few other help documentation, videos, and onboarding articles to this section. So when you first download and sign up for the app, you will be introduced with a set of onboarding splash screens, but those splash screens are actually on demand as well. So once you skip them or go through them in the beginning, you may think that you may not have access to them again, but they're always available here on demand. So if you click on app tutorial, those same splash screens will show up again. And if you wondered how to start bookmarking, there is information there. Project selection, there's information there for surveying. So we have all of that covered here, and it's available to everyone on demand. But along with that, we have added links to the tutorials and to our help site, our support site, which is support.langrid.com, which we also called the guidebook. You will always be able to get those links on your web version as well. It will be on your left panel on the map UI, and the same thing is available here. The only thing is you can't actually view them within the app. It will take you outside the app and take you to the web version and link you there. But you have all of this right here. So it just makes it very easy to use. And as long as there's no network problem, you should be able to access and get help and be able to find your way back, if you're out there on the go, either surveying or looking at properties. And then before we get done with the demo, I think it's important to note that if you download the app as a free user, there's, again, a lot of things that you will be able to do, which is looking up parcels nationwide on the go. However, some of these pro features that we just demoed will not be available just for a free user. So every time you try to turn on, say, the building footprints layer, or if you want to look at some of the premium fields, such as the USPS fields, it will actually, it's showing as a locked field, which basically means when you click on it, it will prompt you and take you to a sign up page, and you can just sign up straight out of the app. And the sign up happens seamlessly, through Apple Pay, with a click of a button. And then it's actually a lot easier to sign up on the app than it is on the web version. It doesn't have a lot of fields that you would need to fill. Did we miss anything? I think we covered everything.
I feel good. Seth?
Yeah. That's it.
Cool.
So Nick, since you have always been at the front line talking to the customers, you've seen these come up quite a bit. How do you see these features helping our customers, especially the ones who use the app a lot for surveying or for looking at parcels all the time? What are the quick use cases that these new features would help with?
Yeah, I mean, I think broadly they can be set into two buckets, right? Because the first thing to note is that I think generally our surveying tool inherently was fairly easy to use. Like, it was designed to be that way. And I have really appreciated what Seth has done in terms of like really polishing what we had. I think people who use it a lot will really appreciate some of the things that don't necessarily show up visually. I mean, I think it's a lot more less error prone, for example, than it used to be. And a lot of the communications about posts and whether things submitted successfully is like a lifesaver if you're actually out doing this at scale.
Yeah.
It also makes me really happy that a lot of the surveying stuff that we had that people liked, we've totally kept. So, for users who like what we were doing, they can keep doing that thing, which is really nice. And really, we've just added, things that make more sense and add more functionality. So that's all really cool. The surveying stuff, I feel like, especially the legend was a really nice thing that's, really moved it up another level. And for those of you that do survey, right, like we have historically and will continue to support those kinds of things. So that's really cool. I think like what really is interesting to me about this adding of the bookmarks feature though is because it really like expands. I hate to use the word democratizes because I feel like it's sort of a buzzword that people throw around all the time, but I'm going to use it here to say that it democratizes this whole thing. So rather than sort of like this implicit assumption that you need to have like a really well thought through systematic, sort of like survey setup where you're doing something consistently over a bunch of parcels. That's really useful and it's helpful. And I love that kind of data. But having the bookmarking option also allows for this sort of informal, like I'm driving down the road. This is a cool building. I want to attach a photo that I took today. Right. And like Jerry has some interesting use cases that sort of illustrate that. And you know, like I felt myself wanting to do that, right? As just sort of like in my off time, I would be driving around and I'd be like, huh, you know, like, so I live in Cleveland. So, you know, I would be driving around and be like, who owns that abandoned building? And then I would have this strong desire to also be like, well, I want to document what it looks like today and then come back next year and then come back the year after, right? And sort of document over time, which I don't know why really. Like it's sort of like a weird thing to do, but it's something that I wanted to do all the time, right? And so previously I had to set up a survey and then select that survey. Whereas now I can literally just be driving down the street, pull over, hopefully not get rear-ended, take the photo and be done. So I don't know. I feel like that's really cool. Like there's a lot of people out there who don't need to have this whole surveying set up, but they would really benefit from just being able to capture this stuff in real time.
Yeah. That sounds good. I think I just want to make sure that we get any questions, save some time for those. So if there are any questions, please type them right now. We want to make sure we get as many of these. And while we wait for the questions, I was thinking that maybe we can do a quick run-up of what's to come and what to expect with the app next. I think the main thing that we need to do next is make the same launch and update for Android, because we do know that we have a huge Android user base, and we wanted to do this launch incrementally one at a time. And Seth has already been working on the Android update. So that's the obvious next launch that would come. But along with that, I'm sure, just like how this launch was all from our customers, they kept asking for these features and we added them to our roadmap, and here it is, the update. So please let us know your feedback as you're downloading and using the app, good or bad. Please let us know how the new features are working for you. If you see any clear improvements that we should be making, all of those would also be included in our next few updates. Apart from that, in 2021, I think the natural progression for us, at least with the app, is to make it, again, an extension of our higher subscription tiers, which is Team and Enterprise. Just like how the app was always available for everyone and all the tiers, it is still available for Team and Enterprise. But I think tailoring the experience with the same set of features as they do with the web version would be the natural next step for us. For the app. I would still like to add that even if you sign up or anybody signs up for Pro on the app, we would recommend that you use it in conjunction with the web version, because the web version is loaded and jam-packed with more features that are tailored for a larger screen real estate. So I think using both of them together, there's just more value in that than just being able to use it. The app just makes it more mobile and portable. You can take it wherever. You can look up parcels on the go. You don't need to sign into anything. But using it in conjunction with the web version, for surveying, you obviously have to do it that way, but there's just so much more on the web version, like you can draw focus area, you can measure distances, you can filter, you can do a lot of things, which will come in handy on the app version as well.
Yeah. And also, I mean, apart from just like the obvious fact that if you're paying the single price and you get access to two platforms, why would you not use it? I think the other side of that too is like, things like filtering, I think, are not likely to be on the app in the short term because A, they're really complex, and B, they do lend themselves a lot better to having a larger screen to work on. And so, if you're out there bookmarking properties, right, like it's important to know that you can see those on a project on the website, and then you can do things in conjunction with that, right? Like you can download a spreadsheet of just the properties you've bookmarked with your notes attached, and it'll have all the parcel data we have attached to those rows as well. So you could be going down the street saying, interested, then go on to landgrid.com, download those 3 properties, and also know things like who owns them and what the valuation was. So it becomes very powerful when you can use those sort of in conjunction with each other.
That's great. Like sometimes I feel like I'm doing stuff with the mobile app and I don't even fully grasp how valuable that is when you match it with the power of all the data that's behind it.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
cool.
sweet. It's really cool.
Yeah. All right, so that was our quick little video on the new app update. The video was only how many minutes? 30 minutes long, but this was 6 months of hard work at Seth's end to build this update. So lots of redesigns, lots of feedback. We shared the beta version of the app with our most loyal users at every step of the way to make sure that the design worked for them. So yeah, this was you know a lot of work, but we are so happy because the app is working well and it basically includes the most asked for features. So you know, we're very proud of the update that we just put together. Thank you, Seth, for working on it. It's looking great. We've only heard good things so far. And for anyone who's not downloaded it, please go ahead, download it, use the free version, and then when you like it, like what you see, maybe you can upgrade to Pro and do more with it. All right. I don't see any questions, but if there are any questions, please don't forget to email us at team@landgrid.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. If that's it, then we'll meet you all in a few weeks.
Yeah.
All good?
Sounds good.
Cool.
See ya.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. See ya.